Welcome to Health Sciences Update. I'm Taryn Roloff, Communications Director of the WSU Spokane Health Sciences Campus. Today we're discussing Ignite Northwest, a new business accelerator with its office located in close proximity to the WSU Spokane campus. Joining me is Bill Savitz. He is the CEO of Ignite Northwest. Welcome.
Hi, Taryn. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're very excited to have you as a neighbor. And your website describes you as a technology-focused business accelerator that helps companies in the Pacific Northwest grow their sustained economic impact. So talk about what that means.
Okay. Well, unlike an incubator, where business incubator is kind of a one-off consulting for somebody that's got an idea that they're just trying to take forward, an accelerator is actually the next step. So what we do is companies that survive the incubation stage, we take them in and we put them through a concentrated 12-week course, essentially, that's kind of like an executive MBA course on steroids for a period of time, with the idea of getting them to a point where they can do a demo day in front of potential investors in order to take their company, continue their company forward and to scale that operation.
So your organization just opened recently, is that correct?
Correct.
And so you haven't gone through that 12-week period yet?
No. Where we are right now is we were the former Innovate Washington, which was more of an incubator type organization. About 9 months ago, the foundation board elected to go to an accelerator model and brought me in at that point, starting October 1st, to develop that. And so we rebranded as Ignite Northwest. We brought in the expertise to help us develop that. So we've got a lot of business experience and entrepreneurship from within the community that is helping us take this forward through their volunteer work in teaching these courses and so forth. And the idea is that rather than dealing with a broad array of everything that comes through the door, what we're really doing is trying to focus on those that we think have the best opportunity for survival and launch them out, and really with the idea of creating jobs, very high paying jobs, affiliate them with what happens here at the Health Sciences campus, and take that whole avenue and create an infrastructure or a pipeline to where it can come out of, for example, the WSU Innovation Center. We're working very closely with Dr. Michael Ebinger. He takes them to a certain level and spins it out to us. So at some point, it spins out of the university system, and we're there to capture and nurture those companies and take them forward and scale.
All right. So, but the focus is on technology-based.
Correct.
That could be technology-based related to health.
Yes.
Technology?
Yeah, exactly.
On the Health Sciences campus? Can you talk about the relationship between health sciences
Definitely. Where we are is that we really look at 6 key areas of technology. So it's biosciences, aerospace, advanced manufacturing, information and communication, agriculture, and I'm missing one. But the real emphasis that we're looking at here for what we're doing is on biosciences. So it relates back again to the issue that there's a new medical school coming to WSU in Spokane. And so what we want to do is we want to parlay on what comes out of that in terms of research and develop all our commercialized research that we can take forward. And it creates a pipeline. And the advantage to that is that faculty, as they come in to do research, they have an infrastructure that allows them to be able to take that through a commercial development. And so we are working very closely with WSU Spokane Health Sciences campus relative to how that works. One other aspect that's really pretty critical to that is that with regulated industries such as FDA regulatory requirements, it's a pretty long lead time issue, and so it's more of a kind of an a la carte need relative to what somebody may need to develop that commercialization. To that end, we are in a relationship with the WBBA with their WIN mentoring network for life sciences.
What's WIN stand for?
Washington Innovation Network. So we are basically their boots on the ground on the east side of the state to help advance that. So depending on the need of any particular company or researcher or development that occurs here on the campus, we can either partner them with our accelerator, or we can partner them with the WIN network and try and achieve an answer to all the needs that anybody coming out of this facility would have.
Right. So what size of a business would come to you generally?
Well, it's not necessarily measured by size so much as it is where they are in their level of development or evolution. So kind of our target client profile for our accelerator is defensible intellectual property, a working prototype of their device or whatever it is that they're working on, an understanding of their market opportunity, some level of market validation, i.e., hopefully they've actually sold it to somebody, they've got a customer or somebody that's willing to buy it, or if they get it to a certain level, they have a memorandum of understanding or a letter of intent. So some level of market validation, and then a committed, it can be a skeletal, but at least a committed management team, somebody that's really going to be devoted and dedicated toward taking it forward. So it's not necessarily measured by size, but measured by stage of development. And then the other thing we really look at is how scalable is it? How much can they really grow it? And we're looking for ventures that can grow exponentially. The intent is to develop and create jobs here in Spokane, and also to have it be, and this is kind of almost a crass way to say it, but a money importer. What we want to do is we want to create economic development and economic wealth within the community that the entire community can then share in, rather than just recirculating existing dollars.
Right, and you want those jobs to be well paid.
Yes, good paying jobs. That's why we're really focused on the technology sector, because that's where the best paying jobs are going to be. That relates to workforce, it relates to all sorts of other elements that have to play in and support that. It relates to the cultural development within Spokane and trying to, we have near nature, near perfect, and we want to play on that. And that's important to a lot of millennials in particular who want to have a good combination of lifestyle and career. So it all plays into kind of the broader ecosystem, but our role is really in this technology development.
Right. So what kind of companies are you hearing from so far?
Well, it's pretty early in the process because we just really started this. We started taking applications for our first accelerator May 1st. Our first accelerator will commence August 25th, and it'll run for 12 weeks, with the 13th week being a demo day. At this point, we've got, I believe, 15 applications in for the accelerator, and we've got a couple of software development companies that are in it. And we think our first class is not going to be exactly where we want it to be when it's really functioning the way we want it to, but we do have 15 applications in for 10 slots, and it's a wide variety. We've got a water monitoring device company, and I can't recall everybody else, but but all pretty good technology-based operations with some great ideas.
So how unique is this accelerator?
For our region, it's unique. We are the only ones. It's not that unique nationwide. There are other accelerators, like in Seattle, for example, there's Y Combinators and Techstars, which are they've got multiple locations throughout the country. Both of them have been very successful. And I think that what we did is we are modeling after what they do. And there's a good reason for that. One thing that's really interesting about companies that go through accelerators is the survivability rate. Techstars' survivor rate at 5 years is a little north of 90%.
Wow.
As opposed to Small Business Administration statistic at 5 years of 50%. So there's an 80% greater opportunity for success, or at least survival, if you go through this process. And the reason is because they come out a lot more knowledgeable, for one, and two, their companies have been scoured and vetted and turned inside out by a number of real experts that can tell them exactly where they need to make changes, where they need to pivot. We teach a different model versus a business plan. We go with the business model canvas, which allows a startup company to really analyze where they're at, and they can make a pivot if they need to, if something's not in line with what they thought their assumptions were going to be, rather than trying to rework an entire business plan. So it's just a different model, and they learn a lot of different skills that are really beneficial to them in terms of being able to progress.
So they have these experts there to advise throughout the 12 weeks, and then they have funders at the end listening, or angel investors, I guess.
Yes.
At the end listening.
Right.
Can you talk about who are some of the experts in Spokane?
Well, one person on our staff in particular who's really kind of leading the effort is our senior business consultant, John Overby. John's been in this realm for a long time. He was the director of client services for CERTI from 2005 to 2010. Prior to that, he was the founder for Advanced Input Devices in Coeur d'Alene, which was an Inc. 500 company, the number 14 in the country, in Inc. 500 magazine, or in Inc. magazine. And then after that, he followed on with another company called Advanced Hardware Architecture, and also put that in the Inc. 500 company, or Inc. 500 list. So he's the only guy I know, actually, that I know nationally that has had two back-to-back Inc. 500 companies. So he's a great resource, and he knows everybody else in town and has been involved in this and engaged in it for a long time, and he's got a ton of enthusiasm so he's for starters. But opening our course will be Norm Letha, who's been the interim director at the Hogan Entrepreneurial Center at Gonzaga University.
Right.
Lewis Lee from Lee and Hayes will be giving a presentation on intellectual property as a strategy, business strategy. We have Michelle Hagee from Desatel Hagee, who will be doing marketing. We have Dr. Ebinger in tandem with Mark Pond from the Spokane Public Libraries to talk about market segmentation and market research. So those are some examples of some of the people we have. We've got some really high-end people involved in that. We also couple the client with a mentor. So say, for example, if somebody came out of pharmaceuticals and they said, hey, we want to manufacture this drug and we want to do it locally, how do we go about that? We'll assign a mentor to him. Tony Bonanzino, who was the former president of Hollister Steer, is one of our mentors that we have on our list, that, as an example, that we would assign to someone to help them walk through that whole FDA elements that are involved with manufacture of pharmaceuticals. So those are some of the examples of people that would be engaged in this.
Wow, sounds very exciting. So you have a website that
Yes.
You'd like to steer people to, I'm assuming. What's
Yes.
what's the address?
The website is www.ignitenorthwest.com, and that's IGNITE, Northwest spelled out.com. It's not to be confused with ignitenorthwest.org, which is an organization that's not affiliated. And then there's also another Ignite Northwest, which is located, I believe, in Scotland. So we are the ones here in the Spokane region. So if you put in Ignite Northwest Spokane or Ignite Northwest Business Accelerator, any of those keywords, and it'll come up to our website. And please go check it out.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of Health Sciences Update.